For thousands of years, long before modern pharmacies and prescription bottles existed, powerful medicinal plants were the foundation of healing. They weren't alternatives, they were primary. Across ancient civilizations, from Egypt to China, from Greece to India, people relied on plants to stop infections, reduce pain, calm inflammation, and restore balance to the body. And today, modern research continues to study many of these same plants, confirming what generations already observed through experience. In this video, we're exploring 20 powerful medicinal plants that heal you instantly. Plants known for their strength, their reliability, and their lasting impact across centuries of use. Some were used on battlefields, some in monasteries, some in village homes long before hospitals existed. Stick with me, because number 18 was once considered more valuable than gold, and number 20 influenced one of the most widely used medications in modern history. Let's begin. Number 1. Willow bark, the original pain reliever. Before aspirin tablets ever existed, people turned to willow bark to reduce pain and fever. Ancient Greek physicians documented its use for headaches and joint discomfort. Traditional healers brewed the bark into teas during times of inflammation and illness. The reason it worked lies in salicin, a compound the body converts into salicylic acid. This natural compound eventually became the foundation for modern aspirin. But for centuries before pharmaceutical refinement, willow bark itself was the remedy. It was powerful not because it was engineered. It was powerful because it consistently reduced discomfort in a way people could observe. Even today, willow bark extracts are studied for their anti-inflammatory properties. It remains a reminder that some of the strongest medicines began as simple tree bark. Number 2. Garlic. The natural antimicrobial garlic has been used medicinally across nearly every major civilization. Ancient Egyptians fed it to workers for stamina. Greek physicians prescribed it for infections. During times of war, crushed garlic was applied to wounds when other medical supplies were scarce. Modern research shows garlic contains allicin, a sulfur compound studied for antimicrobial, antiviral, and cardiovascular supporting effects. Before antibiotics were developed, garlic was considered one of the strongest natural defenses against infection. It wasn't rare, it wasn't exotic, but it was powerful enough to earn global adoption. Its continued study today reflects the strength it demonstrated long before laboratories confirmed its properties. Number 3. Turmeric. The inflammation regulator, turmeric, has been used for over 4,000 years in traditional medicine systems. In ancient India, it was incorporated daily into food not only for flavor, but for healing. Its primary compound, curcumin, has been studied extensively for anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Long before modern anti-inflammatory drugs existed, turmeric was used to ease joint discomfort, support digestion, and regulate systemic inflammation. Its strength lies in consistency. It wasn't a rare emergency remedy. It was daily reinforcement. That long-term use across generations is what earned it the reputation of being powerful. And modern science continues to explore the same pathways traditional healers observed centuries ago. Number 4. Echinacea, the immune activator. Echinacea was widely used by Native American tribes to support immune response and wound healing. When early American physicians adopted it, it became one of the most prescribed botanical medicines in the early 1900s. Today, modern research examines echinacea for its immune-modulating properties, particularly during seasonal illness. Before synthetic immune-supporting medications were developed, echinacea was considered a frontline herbal defense. Its strength wasn't in complexity, it was in activation, helping the body respond more effectively. That kind of response-based healing is what made it powerful enough to survive centuries of use. Number 5. Ginger, the circulation stimulator. Ginger traveled ancient trade routes not just as spice, but as medicine. It was used to combat nausea, improve circulation, and support digestive balance long before pharmaceutical anti-nausea drugs existed. Modern studies examine gingerols and shogaols for their anti-inflammatory and digestive supporting effects. But long before scientific journals, merchants and travelers carried dried ginger to prevent motion sickness and digestive distress. It was valued because it worked quickly, it stimulated warmth, it encouraged flow, it reduced discomfort. That immediate, observable effect is what made ginger one of the most powerful and enduring medicinal plants in human history. Number 6. Clove, the natural pain blocker. Clove has been used for centuries as one of the most powerful natural pain relievers, especially for dental discomfort. Historical records from China, India, and the Middle East describe clove being applied directly to aching teeth long before modern anesthetics existed. In fact, during periods when surgical tools were primitive and infection risk was high, the ability to dull pain naturally was invaluable. The reason clove works lies in a compound called eugenol. Modern research has studied eugenol for its analgesic and antimicrobial properties, which explains why derivatives of it are still used today in dental preparations. But for generations before laboratories isolated anything, whole cloves were the medicine. They were chewed slowly to release oils. They were infused into warm water. They were pressed into painful gums. And relief often followed. Clove became powerful not because it was exotic, but because it produced results people could feel within minutes. Immediate effect builds trust, and trust builds longevity. Number 7. Oregano, the wild antimicrobial. Oregano is often viewed as a kitchen herb, but historically, it served a much more serious role. Mediterranean cultures relied on wild oregano not just to flavor food, but to help preserve it. Long before refrigeration, preservation meant survival. Any plant that slowed spoilage earned a reputation quickly. Modern laboratory studies have examined compounds such as carvacrol and thymol for their antimicrobial activity against various bacteria and fungi. Before synthetic antibiotics became widely available, plant-based antimicrobials like oregano were part of traditional health practices during infections and seasonal illness. Oregano oil in particular became known for its potency. Even small amounts carried strong aromatic intensity, a signal of its concentrated active compounds. It wasn't standardized, it wasn't refined, but it was powerful enough to remain in use across generations, even as pharmaceutical antibiotics eventually took center stage. The plant didn't disappear, it simply moved from primary to supplemental. Number 8. Milk thistle. The liver guardian, milk thistle, has been recognized for liver support since ancient Greek and Roman times. Early physicians described its ability to protect against toxins and digestive distress. Over centuries, it became associated with cleansing and restoration, particularly after exposure to harmful substances. Modern science has focused on silymarin, a complex of compounds found in milk thistle seeds. Silymarin has been studied for its antioxidant and hepatoprotective properties, and in some European medical settings, standardized extracts are still used clinically. Long before modern detox therapies and advanced hepatology existed, milk thistle was considered one of the strongest botanical allies for liver resilience. Its power was not dramatic, it was protective. Protection often goes unnoticed until it's absent. That quiet, stabilizing strength is what allowed milk thistle to endure through centuries of evolving medical systems. Number 9. St. John's wort, the mood stabilizer. For hundreds of years, St. John's wort was used in European herbal medicine to support emotional balance and nervous system stability. It was not fringe. It was widely prescribed by physicians before the pharmaceutical era fully matured. Modern research has examined compounds like hypericin and hyperforin for their influence on neurotransmitter pathways, including those targeted by modern antidepressant medications. Before synthetic mood-regulating drugs existed, this plant served as a botanical option for emotional distress. Its reputation was built not on hype, but on repeated observation. People took it, They felt steadier. They continued taking it. That cycle, use, response, repeat, is how powerful medicines earn their place. As pharmaceutical antidepressants entered mainstream medicine, St. John's wort gradually shifted into alternative categories. But its biological interaction with the nervous system remains a subject of modern study. Its influence never vanished. It simply changed classification. Number 10. Licorice root, the anti-inflammatory regulator. Licorice root has been used in traditional Chinese medicine, ancient Greek medicine, and Middle Eastern healing systems for thousands of years. It was valued for soothing respiratory irritation, calming digestive discomfort, and supporting adrenal resilience during stress. Modern research has investigated glycyrrhizin, one of its primary compounds, for anti-inflammatory and antiviral properties. Before synthetic corticosteroids and refined anti-inflammatory drugs were available, licorice root played a regulatory role in inflammatory conditions. It did not suppress aggressively, it modulated. That distinction matters. Licorice root influenced inflammatory pathways more gently than pharmaceutical steroids, but it did so consistently enough to become a staple in traditional formulas. As stronger synthetic drugs emerged, licorice root moved from primary treatment to complementary support. But the biological pathways it influences remain relevant today. Its power was never illusion. It was simply overshadowed by intensity. Number 11. Feverfew. The ancient migraine stabilizer, feverfew has been used for centuries as a botanical solution for headaches and inflammatory pain. Historical records from ancient Greece describe physicians recommending feverfew for persistent head discomfort. By the medieval period, it was cultivated in monastery gardens across Europe, carefully tended and relied upon as a regular household remedy. It earned a reputation not because it was rare, but because it was dependable. Modern scientific interest has focused on a compound called parthenolide, which researchers have studied for its influence on inflammatory signaling pathways and vascular responses associated with migraines. Before modern migraine medications were developed, there were few options available for recurring head pain. Feverfew became one of those options. Its effect was not dramatic sedation, it was modulation, subtle stabilization over time. And that steady regulatory effect is what allowed it to remain in use across centuries of evolving medical practice. It did not disappear because it lacked impact. It was gradually replaced as pharmaceutical migraine treatments became faster, stronger, and more commercially scalable. But the plant's historical success remains undeniable. Number 12. Golden seal. The bitter root of immunity, golden seal once held a central place in North American herbal medicine. Indigenous tribes valued it for wound care, digestive disturbances, and seasonal illness. Early American physicians later adopted it, and by the 19th century, it was one of the most widely used botanical remedies in the United States. The root contains berberine, a powerful alkaloid now studied extensively for antimicrobial and metabolic effects. In modern times, berberine has been isolated, standardized, and sold independently of the plant itself. But before laboratory extraction techniques existed, the whole root was used. Its intense bitterness signaled potency. Bitter plants often stimulate digestive and immune pathways, and golden seal's strong alkaloid profile made it particularly valued. Before antibiotics became widely available, golden seal was used regularly during infection, not as folklore, as practice. When synthetic antibiotics emerged, golden seal moved from primary care to complementary status. But the compound that made it powerful remains scientifically relevant today. Number 13. Valerian root. The botanical sedative. Valerian root has been used for over 2,000 years to calm nervous agitation and support restful sleep. Ancient Roman and Greek physicians documented its effects on restlessness. In medieval Europe, it became a staple remedy for insomnia and anxiety. Modern research has explored valerian's interaction with gamma-aminobutyric acid, commonly known as GABA, a neurotransmitter that plays a key role in relaxation and sleep regulation. Interestingly, many modern pharmaceutical sleep aids also target GABA pathways. Before prescription sedatives and tranquilizers existed, valerian was one of the few plant-based options for calming the nervous system. Its power was not in knockout intensity. It was in gradual easing, the kind of easing that allows the body to shift naturally into rest. As synthetic sedatives became available, valerian's use in mainstream medicine declined. But its biological influence on calming pathways remains a subject of ongoing study. It represents a recurring pattern, plants interacting with systems long before synthetic drugs refined those interactions. Number 14. Cinnamon. The metabolic regulator, cinnamon, has been treasured not only as a spice, but as medicine for thousands of years. Ancient healers across Asia and the Middle East observed its warming properties and its effects on circulation and energy balance. Modern research has investigated cinnamon's potential impact on insulin sensitivity and blood glucose metabolism. Before pharmaceutical blood sugar medications were developed, cinnamon was one of the few botanical tools used to support metabolic balance. It was integrated into daily life, sprinkled into food, infused into teas, combined into traditional remedies. Its strength lies in consistent regulation, not forceful intervention, but steady support. And steady support over time can build a powerful reputation. As pharmaceutical treatments advanced, cinnamon's medicinal role became secondary, but it has never vanished. Its metabolic influence continues to be explored in modern research settings. Number 15. Artemisia, the fever breaker that changed medicine. Artemisia annua, commonly known as sweet wormwood, has been used in traditional Chinese medicine for more than 2,000 years to reduce fever. For centuries, it was prepared as a simple herbal infusion during periods of severe illness. In the 20th century, scientists isolated artemisinin from the plant, a compound that became one of the most important treatments for malaria worldwide. The discovery was so significant, it earned a Nobel Prize. But the blueprint did not begin in a laboratory. It began with a plant used consistently for generations. Artemisia's history demonstrates something crucial. Plants are not primitive guesses. They are observational successes. When pharmaceutical science advanced, it did not invent artemisinin from nothing. It refined what nature had already produced. The plant came first. The laboratory came later. And that pattern echoes across many of the powerful medicinal plants we've explored so far. Number 16. Ginseng. The endurance root ginseng has been used in East Asian medicine for thousands of years as a symbol of vitality and resilience. It was considered so valuable that wild roots were once worth more than their weight in silver. Emperors sought it. Traders protected it. Healers reserved it for cases of extreme exhaustion and recovery. Modern research has examined ginsenosides, active compounds associated with energy regulation, immune modulation, and stress adaptation. Before synthetic stimulants and adrenal medications existed, ginseng was used to restore stamina after illness, support cognitive clarity, and improve overall resilience. Its strength was not in artificial stimulation. It was in restoration. And restoration is often more powerful than temporary energy spikes. That is why ginseng earned its reputation across centuries. Number 17. Plantain leaf. The field medic's ally, plantain leaf, grows almost everywhere, along roadsides, in fields, in cracks in pavement. Yet, for generations, it was used as a frontline wound treatment. Crushed fresh leaves were applied directly to cuts, stings, and minor infections. Its soothing properties helped draw out irritation and support tissue recovery. Modern analysis has examined plantain for its anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial compounds. Before synthetic antiseptic creams existed, this humble plant served as an accessible, immediate remedy. It didn't require preparation in a lab. It required recognition in the wild. Its power lay in availability. and availability often determines survival. Number 18. Black seed. The seed of broad protection, black seed, also known as Nigella sativa, has been used in Middle Eastern and North African traditions for over 2,000 years. Historical texts describe it as a remedy for a wide range of ailments, from digestive issues to immune support. Modern research has investigated thymoquinone, one of its primary active compounds, for antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. Black seed oil has gained renewed attention in recent decades as studies continue to explore its broad biological activity. Before pharmaceutical, anti-inflammatory, and immune support drugs were refined, black seed was considered a foundational remedy. Its strength lies in versatility. When a single plant touches multiple systems, immune, metabolic, inflammatory, it earns long-term respect. That respect carried black seed across centuries. Number 19. Boswellia, the ancient inflammation regulator. Boswellia, commonly known as frankincense resin, has been used for thousands of years in Ayurvedic and Middle Eastern medicine. Beyond its ceremonial use, it was valued for its ability to reduce joint inflammation and support mobility. Modern research has examined boswellic acids for their role in inflammatory pathways. Before modern anti-inflammatory drugs dominated treatment plans, Boswellia was relied upon for chronic discomfort. Its action was gradual but meaningful. It did not suppress instantly like modern pharmaceuticals. It regulated. That regulatory power allowed it to remain relevant long after synthetic alternatives emerged. Number 20. Foxglove, the blueprint for modern cardiac medicine. Foxglove stands as one of the clearest examples of plant power shaping modern medicine. Used carefully in the 18th century to support heart rhythm irregularities, it eventually led to the isolation of digitalis, a compound still used in certain cardiac treatments today. The plant itself required careful dosing. Too little had no effect. Too much could be dangerous, so scientists refined it, standardized it, controlled it. But the origin was botanical. Foxglove demonstrates the full arc: observation, application, isolation, pharmaceutical development. The plant came first, the drug followed. When you look at these 20 powerful medicinal plants together, a pattern becomes clear. Modern medicine did not appear in isolation. It evolved from observation, from centuries of trial and refinement in fields, forests, villages, and ancient civilizations. Some plants were replaced by synthetic versions, some were refined into standardized drugs, some were pushed aside by faster pharmaceutical interventions, but their origins remain rooted in nature. The power was always there. In bark, in roots, in leaves, in seeds. Modern science continues to study plant compounds for new drug development. Because nature still holds biochemical complexity, laboratories cannot easily replicate. These plants are not relics, they are foundations. They remind us that healing knowledge did not begin in a factory, it began in the earth. And even now, many of these powerful plants continue to grow quietly, unchanged, carrying the same compounds that earned them their reputations centuries ago. The form may change, the delivery may evolve, but the origin remains the same. Powerful medicine has always had botanical roots,